Hi, this is Rob. Welcome to Custom Chronicles YouTube page. I kind of custom paint stuff. And well, today's project's going to be this. I'm going to show you right now. Here it is. Kind of already sanded the tube out there. This is a 1965 Mustang steering column. I'm going to get it disassembled, get it in the bead blast cabinet, take care of this rust right here, and get it primed up. Obviously, I got a little bit of work to do to disassemble it, so I'm going to get into it, pick the video back up when I'm priming. I don't want to make this too long-winded of one, but we'll show what we do. It's going to be pretty cool. So anyways, there we are. I'll pick it up when I'm priming. Now I got it stripped down. Here is the components. This is up where the steering wheel is, and you got a bearing in there. I don't know if you can see it turning. So I got to protect that bearing. I don't want to do anything with it, and I also don't want to paint on the inside of here. We'll just leave it be. You're not going to see it once it's reassembled. And same thing here. I'm only worried about the outside. The tube here, basically the same thing. I got to deal with the grease in the bearing down on this end here, and so I got to get that taken care of real good before I put it in the bead blast cabinet. And I also need to do a measurement here. We're not going to do the graphics that we're going to do up to this point, so I need to know how far down it is so that I can make sure I stop short of that. So anyways, we're going to get this taped up, put in the bead blast cabinet. Same with these pieces, get them cleaned up, taped up in the cabinet. We're going to do the rust, get that taken care of there, and then get it right to prime. All right, I'm doing a bunch of priming, so I figured I'd just go ahead and video this. Obviously, steering column's getting primed out. And I got a gas tank right there. That's another video project. Full length. I want to load it up down here where the rust pitting is, because I didn't do any body fill. You're not really going to see that. There we go, we're getting them in prime. That's all I really need to show of this. So, anyways, there we go. Stuff getting primed. It's all primed up. There we go. That's the end of this little segment. Well, we got the steering column here all prepped out. We got it hanging on the rack. We're going to get it shot black. We also got this, but here are the other pieces. We just got them ready to go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start spraying. The air compressor will probably kick on pretty much right away. So anyways, well, let me get into doing this. Well, I went ahead and I kind of forgot to pick up the camera and start filming. I wanted to get the steering column flaked out, but I'm not done yet. I still got to do just one more round of it. It's pretty solid right now with the metal flake. Using dry flake gun again right here with my little setup here. And well, alrighty, now what we're doing is we're just kind of wetting this up. Just getting some tack on it, and this is straight clear that I'm using. Now I'll come back and this kind of, hold on a second. not really prepared for this clip. And I'm going to gently turn the air pressure up. And there's the flake coming out. This is the last round I'm doing on this. Because I don't want to get too chunky. Turn that off. So anyways, here this is all flaked out. It's as good as I'm going to be, and then I will let this tack up, and then I'm going to start burying it clear. I'll do 3 coats of clear on top of it, and you can really see that it's hammered on there. Nope, here it is. It's all dried up. It looks just wonderful. Got tons of flake on it. The next thing I'm going to do is wet sand this. I got it on my foam pad, which helps keep it from getting damaged. So anyways, I'm going to kind of just wet sand at 600. It's kind of redundant. And the reason I'm doing this is to smooth out the clear and knock down any of the high standing up flake. And well, that's why I do this. I do a good thorough job, get it nice and flat, and then we'll get it into the next stage, which will be coming right up. I got the steering column hung back up. There it is. It's just kind of dulled out and whatnot. And then we're going to go over here and going to start to mix up the candy. I'm doing it with SG100. I got my little coffee stirrers here, and I'm doing candy cobalt blue and apple red right there. I'll just go ahead and get them put into the mix here real fast. Let's see if I can even open the cans up. Sometimes that's problematic. There's that. All right, that one's opening. I'm going to make the concentrate mix because I'm going to be using the airbrush kind of stiff. A lot of the concentrate in here so that we get coverage. And so anyways, I'll look at that here in a second. The mix is thin. It's basically over reduced so that the SG100 passes through the airbrush with ease. I don't mind taking my time and going over things a few times if I have to. So the ultimate goal is to get it where it's looking good. And I'll just add a little bit more in there. Why not? Yeah, another pinch right there. And that, I think that should suffice. If it comes out really weak, I can make adjustments. I add more concentrate or SG100 and concentrate to kind of thicken it up a little bit, but I like to have it thin. I do like the way that's looking right now, and then we'll move this out of the way right here. And again, it's basically a 50-50 mix, maybe a little bit more on the reducer. Then because you see what I'm mixing in, these little cups that I make out of the McDonald's cups, which actually are solvent resistant. That's why I use those. It's not because I frequent McDonald's so much, but I know people that do. And there we go. Nice little, that's probably pretty good right off the bat, but there's more volume in here of material because of my accuracy system that I have here. But anyways, just a pinch more. It was looking pretty close. I think we'll be good right there. I love the concentrates. They're great for doing the airbrush work and stuff and toning colors out and all that, and being able to put it in the SG100 where it dries relatively quick so that in between colors you don't have a lot of downtime waiting on the project. But there we go, and you can see how that is, nice and thick, or nice and blue. And well, I'm going to load up the airbrush, and then we'll pick this back up on the actual airbrush in the steering column. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and start shooting the blue. Hopefully my camera's lined up here, but I'm just going to start layering it on, turning this around. I'm going to get this flake jumping. And this part down here is going to be down in the engine bay. You don't really see it, but I'm being thorough in my application here. Okay, red, white, blue. I'm going to start red. That'll be white, red, blue, just kind of. And you know, I'm just trying to, you see how the flakes, I'm trying to get it look like that, and it's just kind of random too. You'll understand where we're going on the next phase here and why I'm doing it this way. And a part of this, the whole thing is it's stepping stones. You're building blocks up the whole time. Let's see. Head. And when I go to do the outside of the car, I'm doing the something similar on here. I got to reload the airbrush already. And walk back over here. Don't want to overfill it. I did that the first time. Yeah, I kind of love this combination here of the metal flake, doing it with the silver and then doing the American flag, red, white, and blue theme. If I was guessing France, it would be red, white, and blue too. But anyways, I digress, so to speak. All right, we'll leave it at that, and I'll come back. I'll tack rag it off, get some of this loose overspray out of the area there, and we're looking pretty good right there. And well, we'll leave it at that. All right, we're back to doing that, and look at that mess I just made. Son of a bitch. See that? Didn't clean the airbrush. All right, I'll wipe that real quick. Hopefully I can, actually that's gonna be down the engine bay. I'm gonna let it ride. I'm gonna do it for now. I'll clean it up later. Tighten up. I'm going to get tighter with the airbrush because I was a little loose and made it really wide down there. I'm still going to clean up the bottom. Not happy about that, but that's what happens sometimes. The red is nice and good. The blue wasn't as, maybe I was holding the brush away, too far away from the project. You know, you kind of figure stuff out as you go. And here we go. And you know, if you aren't aware, part of this channel is I'm figuring stuff out as I go all the time. Every project's different, and I'm trying to kind of show my techniques and how my logic is on doing these projects here and whatnot. But basically at the end of the day, the overall thing is that if I can do it, anybody can do it. That's obvious. I'm not a rocket science here. And so with that said, you know, I do enjoy what I do. For the most part, you know, there's parts of running a business which are absolutely not fun, and you know, you got to deal with people and whatnot, and personality issues and things like that. And as I'm getting wound down, I'm fixing to be done with customer work in general. It's kind of a relief. And I've actually slowed up a little bit because now it's like I'm down to my last jobs. Might as well put out the best work I can as I'm closing out. So anyways, I'm going to just do some red up here. We'll check it out here in a minute, make sure we're nice and bright everywhere. I may just leave that splatter there and call it artistic creativity. I've done that in the past where I smudged stuff and just left it. And it gives the project some character. You know, I'm not that sterile of a person where I have to have it absolutely perfect. I don't freak out. I actually like character in the job. Hopefully I'm not boring you to death. I can always edit out stuff. Alright, there we go. Gonna let it sit for a little bit. I'll tack rag the whole thing down, and then we will move on from there. I think I'm pretty happy with it. Alright, I got my barber pole looking steering column here, 1/8 inch tape and a brand new razor blade. I'm gonna open this up, set it aside. This is nice and sharp, brand new obviously, and that's so I can pick the tape up and cut the tape. I don't want to push down and cut into the paint. That's no good. And I'm going to start down here at the bottom. This is the portion that's going to be in the engine column, or down in the engine bay, excuse me. And this is the top portion here. That's the top portion of the tape where the steering wheel and the I guess call it the bell goes, or whatever that is. So we're just going to go ahead and start laying some flames down. Now I can correct things as I go. I'm going to try to just get some hot rod flames on this puppy. And the tape's already breaking, but you know, I'm not going to sweat that too much because, well, it's going to be cutting it off here shortly in a second. Anyways, there we go. This is going to be a little bit tighter, so I'm going to kind of just do my thing here. Now we clean up these edges, because everything here is going to be metal flake, and then I will borderline after I do the black, which is the next thing after getting these all masked up. But this is where it gets a little bit complicated, because I'm going to be you know, doing these opposite sides. This wick will be down here and whatnot, so I got to bring this up here and get my razor blade. I'm just going to kind of right about there, and then I'm going to finish this flame off and then do what I need to do. And this is a little bit time consuming. I'm just going to show this initial thing, and then I can put it into time lapse and then just finish this up in that manner. And after this is, before I mask this all off, I can make adjustments with the airbrush on how I want some of this candy paint to be too. That way it looks good, and we got what we need to do done. Kind of move this over here and see how this is coming out right here. Pick that up right there, and now I'm going to bring that back in. And this is how we're building these I guess ropes of hot rod flames. I don't know what to call them. Lengths. Hot rod flames are my bread and butter. Make no bones about it. I don't want this to be the hot rod flame channel, but this is something that's been, you know, the classic Watson style hot rod flames are what I like doing. And now you see I'll correct all this stuff here in a minute. And so anyways, with that said, we'll be closing this out here in a minute. I don't like that. So you're getting to kind of see the method of my madness here. And I gotta kind of rotate. I gotta get some tension on here. And I'll turn my finger, which in turn turns the tape. You gotta be careful not to overdo it like I just did. Oops, messing this up royally. Ah, boy. Haven't had enough coffee today. I'm gonna try to get one more wick of hot rod flame in here, and see what's happening is I'm starting to go uphill, so I gotta drag this back down. You see, I want to try to keep the line going straight across. I don't know if you saw that on the camera or not, but I am now bringing this farther down. I'm going to take the razor blade. I'm going to cut it off a little bit farther out. And then I'm going to correct this one. Back this up right here. Go ahead and cut this off right here, and then add on the tape. So you're kind of getting a little bit of a video on another portion of the process of doing hot rod flames. I've done other videos on the hot rod flames, how to do them, and each video touches on different aspects of it, the layout, the interweaving, and whatnot. But this one here, you're getting to see about doing the ropes, the hot rod flame ropes or lengths. And that should put me, I don't want to get too big. There we go. A little bit of curve there. I'll clip that off right here, pick that up, and now you see where we're at, how it's starting to develop. I'll come back in, being that that's there, we're going to take the length all the way up and finish it off there. Let me get the camera down here. I'll just kind of rotate myself, pick up some tape, and we'll get the last one on this rope done. Now I can template this rope and make my life easier on the tape out by just replicating these over and over again through the length of it, but we're gonna see what we can do. I'm thinking I'm gonna have 3 ropes on here. I didn't do any measurements or any of the smart stuff I should have done, like seeing where we're at on this job, like the circumference of the tube here, but we're going to make it work. I'm having an issue with this one for some reason or another. I just can't get the rotation right, and I'm figuring it out. Sometimes the material fights you, sometimes it doesn't. And we're going to do the last flame. I'm going to go ahead and get that to go a little bit earlier. And see right down here at the end, go ahead and go beyond that, clip that off, because I'll straighten I'm going to cut the tips. Bring this in. There we go. There's that. And I'll go ahead with this piece of tape right here. Pick it up. I'm going to go ahead and readjust the line here a little bit. And bring that in there. And then we will, actually I'll cut it off. I'm going to cut it off right about here. And again, I wasn't cutting down, I pulled the tape up. I just put the razor blade on it with just a little bit of pressure, and then pulled the tape up. That way I'm not cutting into the paint. And believe me, I've cut into the paint plenty of times, so I know all about making the mistakes. That's why I'm warning of them. And well, this is a kind of a long segment, I guess, for this. I'll time lapse the rest of it. Sorry about the length here, I guess. Straighten that up just a little bit. And got tied in right there. Bingo. All right, down at this end, you see you got them both open. I'll clean up that curve there, but all in all, there it is. And then I'm gonna, let's see, one, got room for stack right here, and I'll be pocketing them in different spots. So, you know, maybe this one won't go so far up, but maybe I need to do them all that far up. So I got room for 2 more, and I gotta have them tight. So I'm going to be running them up real close to this. So at this point, I will go ahead and cut the tips. That way I don't have the extra length of material going out. Right there and there, I'll have that cut off. And this way I can run a little bit closer to there if I need be, which I think I'm going to, because, well, I'm only going to get three runs of it. So there you go. I'm going to go to time lapse. Okay, here we go, right there. And you can see the white flames in the outline. That's going to stay the color, the red, white, and blue. And I'm going to paint all this portions, the exposed portions, black. I need to untape this. That's fine down there. And my little blowout with the airbrush is getting covered. I made sure I did it that way. That way I still solved the problem. So anyways, I'm real happy with it. I got three chains of hot rod flames there on this, and it's going to be wild, man, especially when it's sitting in the car with everything else that's going on with the interior. It's just, this is one of the funner jobs I'm doing because of the styling of it. It's stuff I like to do. And so anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that. And I'm going to get this yellow, finish on taping that, and get it hung back up on the rack, and we're going to shoot it black. All right, we're going to go ahead and get spraying this black, and I got my paint gun loaded up. Going to get this done. I'm gonna go ahead and let this flash off and then come back and put some more black on it. I want to make sure the coverage is good and that everything's fine on that before we get to the next stage. All right, pulling the tape here, and oh, look at that. Oh, that's so satisfying. It's kind of like an Instagram video. A little post here. Maybe that's what I should be doing, is putting this on Instagram. Of me pulling the tape. But get over here. Be careful not to pull the fresh paint up. And there it is. And you kind of get the gist of it. I'm just going to go ahead and get the rest of this off, and you can see how this is. I'll show it when it's all untaped, and then well, I got to do the borderline stripe, and I still don't even know what color I'm going to do yet. Haven't figured that out, but kind of get the gist. There's the black and the contrast with the metal flake. I think this is going to be gorgeous when it's all said and done. And well, I'm going to finish untaping. Okay, now I'm all set up. I got the steering column right there. This is the color I chose, the bright blue here, or it's actually light blue, it says. It's kind of a medium blue. It's not real on the light side. Brushes I'm using are the Mac Virus. I'm using that on the tight stuff right here. And then my trusty SLS. And so anyways, I'm going to get the paint paletted out. Start on getting all the pinstriping done on this thing here, or the borderline actually. And so let me get into it. I'm going to get the paletting done, and then I'll pick this up when I start laying down the borderline. Okay, I guess I'm going to go ahead and get started here. It's a little bit more difficult on this because it's a rounded surface, so I got not only to follow the hot rod flames, but I also got to deal with keeping the stripe consistent on an ever-changing level as well. And you see how that stripe got a little bit thin, but that's okay. Yeah, I can thicken it up. When it gets too thick, then it's hard to make it thin. You know, you just gotta wipe. And I'm not trying to do that. And I'm not above going over this twice if I have to. That's just part of the name of the game sometimes. The reason I chose this blue is I didn't want it blaring, but I wanted to have it to be able to jump out a little bit. And hopefully I made the right call. We'll know here in a little while. And you see I got a little wonky in the end of the tip there, but that's okay. I'm going to go over this one again. Because I'm just getting started, I'm not rushing to make a bunch of mistakes. I'd rather be just a little cautious and go slow. And I brought it out a little bit far there, but that's okay. I didn't bleed it into the other one. And I'll come back and I'm just going to re-wet the brush. And I'm going to thicken it up just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm going to go slow. I'm changing the angle of the brush. There we are. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to worry about going this way. I am actually going to go rotate it this way. And but first things first, I'm going to go ahead and get this done, then come back with the virus brush and do all the pockets. And so anyways, I will be doing this for a short while. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, and I may do a time lapse here in a little bit. But yeah, this is it. You know, this is the last thing I got to do before I get it in clear. And so anyways, I'll put this other line down, and I will call it a day on this segment. And being I'm already comfortable with the thickness of the brush where I'm at, this line will be a one and done. I'm happy with that. Now we got the border line on the first length of the hot rod flames. It really is helping out. And well, I can't wait to see this under clear and out in the sunlight when the flakes jumping and everything. But I got 2 more ropes to do here, so I'm gonna just put it in time lapse. But there you go, there's the blue. It's working. I actually like it. All right, taking a quick look at this here out in the sunlight before the clear. Blue stripe was definitely the right call, and I'm real happy with it. So we're gonna go ahead and get this in clear. I think it'll look great when it's all done. So there it is. Got it hung up on the rack here. We're going to go ahead and get the first coat of clear down. And so let's see if I can do this here and not make a disaster. Let's see, got to get my air pressure right. There it is. Sorry about that. And just kind of go ahead and just you see how I'm holding the gun. I'm holding it kind of diagonal because this is a tube. And you can see how the flake's jumping out immediately under the clear. All right, back over here. Get back here. I'm going to let this tack up for a little bit, but you can kind of see how the flake is jumping out under the clear. That makes me happy. It looks really good. I'm real happy with this job all the way around. And well, I'll let this tack up, and then let's load it up. I'm going to try to get 4 to 5 coats on top of it over the flake so I can wet sand and buff it down smooth. All right, getting another coat on. Paint the tube. Well, here it is, the final product, and you can see the flake in the sun there. Turn that around a little bit so you can see the effect. Nice and shiny. Now this is like totally going to go with the outside paint job. We're going to be doing some hot rod flames on the car too, in metal flake, and doing the flag thing. But anyways, it goes all the way around. I got 3 ropes on here. The black's looking great, and talk about a party. Man, this is bringing the party to the interior here. I mean, I don't know how good this camera's picking up the flake, but man, it looks great. Well, if you like this kind of content, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Leave a thumbs up, maybe a comment. Tell me how I'm doing. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, or if you got some tips that may improve the job, let me know. Let everybody know. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll be getting another video up soon.